Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Nick, your favorite personal growth coach, and welcome to Adulting in My Purpose Live. I am excited to be with you today because we are kicking off the new year. I know it's already February, but we've been taking a break. So if you're joining for the first time, welcome. Let me know that you're listening in. Say hello, like, share, and do what you have to do to tell your friends what we're doing here at Adulting in My Purpose. For our first timers, I am Dr. Nicole Rankin, better known as Dr. Nick. You're a certified personal growth coach. And my vision is to help young leaders discover who they are, clarify their vision, and develop a solid plan for life. And this is our mission. And we are creating an international movement of young people who know their purpose and who are living in their purpose, working to create dreams. And we're doing this through our self-discovery process. It's amazing. We have a journal. If you haven't gotten it, make sure you go on Amazon, get your copy. It is there for you to join in. Guys, I just want to come in because we are planning some amazing things for 2022, and it's going to be awesome. I mean, I can't really get the words to describe what I see and what God is doing and what is going to be coming forth with the Adulting in My Purpose movement. We kicked it off with our networking event, our Lunch and Learn series. That was amazing. We had young people, millennials, young adults, entrepreneurs, young professionals, college students about to graduate to come in from literally all over the world, from Canada. They logged in from Kenya, Dubai. We had people from all over the United States, Nevada, Minnesota, Georgia, Florida. It was amazing. Our ambassadors stepped up and they were given the goods on communication skills, helping to develop these soft skills that we need, interviewing skills, speaking off the cuff, and elevator pitch, making sure that you're branding and able to speak about yourself in a clear and effective way. Let me tell you, it was an amazing opportunity. So if you missed it, you missed it. We're going to be doing this again and so much more. But, we're going to kick off our podcast again, and then we're going to start off with all fresh, new millennials who are out there making moves. And we're going to start a new series starting in March of 2022. So I want you to get ready because we have so many amazing young people out there that are doing some amazing things, helping people, helping their environment, helping their community, and just truly making an impact. And this is the platform that we want to use to help them get their voice out, let their voice be heard, and truly share their stories to be an inspiration to others. So we're going to get started again. I know we have been taking a little break, but breaks are good when you are refueling because you can't pour from an empty cup. So that's going to be your adulting lesson for today. Make sure you take the breaks that you need to fill yourself up with the things that you need to help fuel yourself to move forward in your purpose. So today we're going to go back and show you some more of the amazing speakers that we had at the Adulting in My Purpose Summit on last year, because some of you all did not attend. So I'm giving you a sneak peek. We are getting ready to have another summit number 2. So save the date. It's coming in August. Again, we're going to have another set of amazing speakers speaking to those issues that you are dealing with as young people learning how to transition to this adult that we are supposed to become. So again, my name is Dr. Nick. This is what we're here to do, help you adult in your purpose. And I'm so excited. Again, the podcast will launch again March of 2022. But until then, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the amazing speakers that we've had for the Adulting in My Purpose Summit. And today I am going to introduce our speaker who spoke at our summit, Stylist Tim B. Okay, we had a celebrity stylist. So his story is amazing. He gave us some just real thoughts of inspiration of what his journey was like and how he started out and now where he is as a celebrity stylist to many of the people that you are aware of. I'll let him tell the story. I won't let the cat out the bag. But tune in, take notes, be inspired, and let this motivate you to find out your purpose, find out what you're passionate about, and move in the things that God has called you to do. So this is Adulting in My Purpose today. Again, new podcast comes out March 2022. Watch out for that. Enjoy tonight's session and tonight's replay, and we'll see you again on next week. Take care. To start day 2 of Adulting in My Purpose Summit, and we're gonna kick it off, right? This gentleman is going to be amazing. We're gonna have this is gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna kind of do a little bit of an interview format. So I want you to listen in. I want you to get your questions ready because we're gonna do some Q&A. If you have questions, I want if you can type them in the chat, raise your hand. I can bring you on stage, and we're just gonna have an informal chat just to hear this amazing, inspirational story of the person that you see here. So let me introduce Tim B, celebrity stylist, guys. We got a celebrity stylist in the house. So he was born in Buffalo, New York. Shout out to all my New York people. I'm a Brooklyn girl. So
shout out to Brooklyn.
Yeah. So what's up? So she's born in Buffalo, New York. Bread stylist Tim B fell in love with fashion at an early age and really forever using fashion as his method to put his thoughts and feelings on display. Tim began using himself as a canvas to display the artwork flying around in his head. So he founded Epic Style, his own boutique agency, and within 3 short months landed his first client. Y'all may know who she is. Multi-platinum Grammy award-winning hip-hop icon, Little Kim. That's right. This is Brooklyn. The type of people we have in the building. So Tim, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this epic movement that we are putting together for Adulting on Purpose. We thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate being here. I really do.
Absolutely.
It's an honor.
It is an honor to have you, and I'm so excited I just want to know more about you. So let's start off and just take us on the journey on where it all began. Where did it all begin, and how did you get to where you are today?
So basically, I've always had, like, as corny and cliche as it sounds, I always had like a love for fashion. Like, I didn't, when I was younger, I didn't know exactly what it was. But my mother was into fashion. My father, he was somewhat into fashion. He basically kept himself up. And my godfather was really into fashion and cars and everything like that. So it was kind of like embedded in me. My aunt is a seamstress. She is a designer. And she I kind of like fell into it early because my grandmother always worked, and my grandmother was a fashionista herself. So my aunt will always she would work from home. She would have the sewing machines in the room. So she would be passing me stuff she was teaching me one day, I probably was like 10, and she was teaching me how to sew. And I found like interest in it, and I would help her here and there. And then it was just that. Then it kind of became work. Like, I didn't want to do it, and sometimes she would try to like make me help her. But later on down the line, it kind of all tied itself in together. When I was in high school, when I was in grammar school and high school, I just had an interest in fashion, and it was more so men's fashion, and it was more so basically keeping myself together. And Buffalo, we didn't have a lot of resources like the city. So when my godfather would take me on trips, we would always come up to New York for the car show. He would take me around and get me like exclusive clothes, and like I would come back to Buffalo, and I will always, like, even when I went shopping in Buffalo, I will always alter my clothes and alter like things that I wore. So it kind of like, when I think about my life, it all kind of like tied into each other like effortlessly. So I got in high school, and when I was in high school, a lot of people, I would wear things in Buffalo, just being honest, it was kind of delayed on fashion, but I kind of like already knew, like, so when we went from like the baggy era to the more fitted and tighter clothes, people was looking at me crazy, and I was like, y'all already late. I'm on. This is what I'm on. Like, this is, and it took a while and it took a lot of criticism, but I really never cared. Anytime they had awards for like best dress and things, I would win, and that was just like kind of my thing. When I got to college, I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I mean, have, you would think that I would have an idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't have a blueprint of life. Like, I was the first person from my family to go to college. Um, so I was just basically like carving out my own lane with no blueprint. I didn't have any reference points. And I didn't know, I knew I didn't want to be a designer because I don't like the technical aspect of, being a designer and everything. So I just was like, oh, let me go to school for business. So I went to school for business, and I went to Buffalo State College. I did 1 year at Erie Community College. Well, I did like one semester, and I was like, no, I gotta go to a real college. Like, this is not it. Like, so I went to Buff State, and I got there, and I loved it. Buff State was more so like a party school.
Tell the
And I
truth.
loved
Tell
it
the
because,
truth.
yeah, it was a party school. It was a party school, and I kind of like fell in love with that. We had different organizations. The African American Student Organization, which I was the entertainment chairman on it, and the Fashion Student Association. They had different ones, but I always was a part of, like, entertainment and fashion. That was always my thing. So when I got there, I was, doing my thing, and I was just like meeting people. And it wasn't until my sophomore year where I met, like, I would, and this is the power of networking. Like, I never knew what it was, but when I look back at it, it was so important. I always been like this. I um, always used to speak to everybody. I always used to have conversations with everybody. So that kind of like worked in my favor. And like one day I was literally just walking down the hallway, and this girl had her door open. Her name was Ernestine, and I'll never forget. She had her door open, and I don't know what made me go into her room, and I literally walked in her room. I didn't know her, and I was like, "Hey, my name's Tim," and we just started talking. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I see you around." And I was trying to get her. I was trying to get everybody to come to this event that I was putting on for the African American Student Organization. Uh, we ended up talking, and she asked me what my major was, and I said, you know, business, but I'm like, I'm not really feeling that. Like, I come here, I like basically sleep all day in class, and I'm passing, but it's not fulfilling. Like, the only fulfilling part I get is when I'm talking about fashion, or putting on an event, or being social. Like, that was my thing. I had more fun. Like, my whole thing in college was, I really personally never learned too much. I never learned too much about, what I wanted to learn about. So she was like, "Why don't you do fashion?" She's like, "That's a thing." And I was like, "I don't know. Like, that's not, I had no reference point. So I just was like, it's not a thing. I want to make money. She's like, "You can make money." She's like, "You ever thought about being a stylist?" I was like, "I don't know how to do hair. That's not my thing. Like, I like clothes." And then she's like, "No, like a fashion stylist." And showed me, um, she showed me what a fashion stylist was, and then I did my research. And she's like, "I can get you an internship." She was interning to be a publicist. So she's like, the publicist that I work with, her best friend is a really big stylist, and the friend of her boss's friend was June Ambrose, and June Ambrose is like one of the biggest stylists. She did like all the videos in the '90s, all the Missy Elliott videos, Busta Rhymes, like. So she was like, I could get you in with her, and I'm like, okay. She did my resume, relied on my resume, and like to say I had like some type of experience.
Right.
So it never went through, but she found me another internship, which was with Michelle Tin, and she was like, just tell them that you live in New York. Don't tell them that you live in Buffalo, because a lot of times people won't take you on knowing that you in another state.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay. And because I was so connected, I already had like a place to stay out there with my friends and everything. So I sent my resume. I had the referral from her, and that summer, the summer of 2009, I went out to New York to do the interview, and then I didn't come back for the rest of the summer. Like I packed my bag, and I had my mom. I packed another suitcase, and I told my mom, if I stay, just send it. And she was like, "What the?" Like my mother didn't understand it. She's like, "What are you like? What like you go to New York?" She was worried, scared. I never had any experience in New York outside of riding around the car with my godfather, going to different places. I took the internship and I just fell in love with it. And at the time, I didn't know like how big of a deal it was, because I was in a room with so many like people that was really big in the industry, because she shared a space with uh, a marketing company.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all in there, and it was like these designers from the brand called Public School, and it was just like different people, and I just didn't know. Like, and I was just there, and I was around these people, and because I was so like social, they would like, oh, come to this party with us or come to that party with us, and it just really started happening for me. Like I was really flashy with my style, so that kind of worked for me, because at the time that's when blogging and street style kind of worked. So people would take pictures like, oh, come here, or if you just look cool. Like literally a party promoter came up to me one time and was like, oh, I want you to come to my party. And it was like I'll go to the party, and it was all these. It was Nas, Khalees, Lady Gaga before she became like Lady Gaga, and it was like I'm in this place, and I'm like, oh, this is New York. Like it kind of like literally kind of like once I put the small pieces into place, everything just started falling to my lap.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I did my job. I messed up so much, but I did my job so good that Michelle just would be like, okay, I understand. And I had to tell her like, yeah, I'm not from here. I'm staying with my friends, and I'm trying to learn New York, because at one point she's like, you getting lost, like you're not from here. And I had to tell her like, and she respected it, and she respected what I did. So each summer throughout college, I would come in the summer, or like during break, or even when we had like little periods of time where like if I can get on a bus and come to New York, I would do it just to help her on a job.
Mm-hmm.
So she saw that, and she started referring me to her friends that were other stylists, and I started working with them. And when I was going to school, she was like, "You should see if you could get credit for it." My turning point was with Buff State. I kind of lost interest in being in school, because it's like, okay, I know what I want to do now. This is exactly what I want to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is exactly what I want to do. And I asked them for, when I became a senior, I would have to do internships. So I was like, can I start getting credit for this now? And they were like, no. And I'm like, why? They was like, well, what if you get offered a job? Like, and then I kind of started looking at school like in a different light. I feel like, um, for me personally, I was like, I'm not getting nothing out of this, because everything I'm learning, you guys are teaching me how to work in a factory or work at a store or be. That's not what I want to do. So why am I staying here
Mm-hmm.
wasting money to do that when I'm already getting experience? I'm already getting connections. I'm already doing little photo shoots here and there, like making the strides to be what I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So when that time came up, it was like 2010. the end of 2010. I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I know what I want to do. I got these connections. I really can make something work. I just felt it in my spirit. Everybody was mad at me. My mother was mad, and everybody was mad. But I was like, I just can't continue to do this because I feel like I'm wasting my time. The more I waste my time, the farther I'm gonna be. Like, why? I felt like I just should start now. Like, I was like, if anything, I could always go back.
Mm-hmm.
December 2010, I dropped out. I dropped out of Buff State, and I was just like, I can't do it anymore. I didn't like the teachers. The teachers were, oh, he's always, um, he's always sleeping in class and everything. And we had this one teacher that just always talked bad on me, and I just was like, you gonna see. One day you're gonna see. So I left Buff State and I went to New York, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I got a job. I got a day job within like a week and a half of me being in New York. So I'm like, oh, this is meant to be. Like, everything was just falling into place. I stayed with my friends. I rented a room, and I basically started working. And then on the days that I would be off, I would be doing my internships. I was reaching out to people, letting them know that I was in New York. And then Angelique Preston from America's Next Top Model. She's from Buffalo. We became like associates at the time, and she was like, I just think you're gonna be like, she's like, one day you're gonna be famous, and she was already on America's Next Top Model, and I was like, oh, whatever, like, no. And then when you're looking at somebody that is accomplished and is on a show with Tyra Banks and Andre Leon Talley and all these people that are really in the industry and really big people in the industry, I'm like, that means a lot coming from her. And her and my really close friend Michael Dimitri really like kind of pushed me to really start doing things on my own, because I was stuck on being an assistant, and they was like, if you don't move forward, you're gonna always be an assistant. Like, you need to start taking the leap of faith and do it on your own. And I was so petrified because I never knew how to style women. That was my whole issue. I didn't know how to style women. I didn't know anything about anything. Like, I didn't know about undergarments. I didn't know about the tailoring. I didn't know anything. Like, it was just like, it was a lot. So I was always like, I'm going to work with men. I'm going to work with people in the NFL and the NBA and movie stars and things like that. That's what I wanted to do. But at the time, it wasn't that big as it is now. Like, now, when you watch the game, it's like a fashion show. Mm-hmm. But at the time, that was another thing. Like, my boss, I wish I would have had like a better mentor that told me to, like, follow your dreams, do what you need to do. Because everybody was telling me, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And I had a friend of mine that was an intern at the time, and he just left and went to LA, and he started making strides to himself, and now he's like one of the biggest male stylists in LA, in the NFL and the NBA, like what I wanted to do. So, I dropped the ball on that part, but I kind of like needed to stay in New York longer to learn women's fashion because I didn't know where my career is going to go. My first photo shoot was with Angelique Preston from Top Model, and it was in Toronto. And I knew how to do pulls because I did my internship, and that's the beauty of an internship. You get the access, and you know how to like acquire clothing and things like that. Because it's like you can't just go to the store and get the clothes. You have to, borrow them from showrooms and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I knew that. And the woman that I was working with at the time, her name was Michelle Tin. She worked at the Source magazine, and she was like one of the big people at the Source magazine. She was the fashion director there. So she had so many connections, and those connections kind of like fell into my hand because I was the person that was going to get the clothes and go and pick it up and drop it off and communicating with people. So I did my first photo shoot, and it came out. I was so scared. I was nervous. I was like, I think this is too big for me. Like, I don't know. And my friend was like, trust me. And that like is important to have people that believe in you before you see it yourself as well. So we went out to Toronto. I drove from New York to Toronto and I did the photo shoot. And I was crossing, when I was crossing, I still remember like it was yesterday, I was crossing the border and the guy was looking at me like, why do you have so many clothes with you? Like, why? And I'm explaining myself like, it was like, I'm trying to explain it. He thought I was like doing some scheme. So they had pulled me over at the border. It was so much. I was late to the shoot and I was nervous. I'm like, I'm late. And it was just, it was a lot. So we did the photo shoot and the people from the magazine was just so impressed because it was like a really, um, I kind of like mix like women's fashion with men's fashion because she had like a bow tie on, a button-up shirt, like a hat, and some like knee-high boots and some slacks, and it came out like so good to the point that it's still one of my like my first shoots. That first photo shoot is still one of my favorite moments, and I still use it in my portfolio, and it's just timeless, effortless, and after I did that, she was just like, "Oh yeah, I told you, I told you, I told you." They were all happy about it. I told you you could do it, da, da, da. And she showed it to Andre Leon Talley, and I was like, and he's um was he the he was like the second underneath Anna Wintour at Vogue magazine. So when he saw it, he was like, "This is phenomenal." He's like, "This shoe is better than anything you did on some Top Model. Who did it? Who styled you?" And she was just telling everybody. The whole time, I didn't know. I was always a big fan of Little Kim, and Biggie. She was like hanging out with her hairstylist, and she was just like, "Oh, look at the shoot I did," and they was like, "Oh, this is dope." And the friend showed Kim, and Kim was like, "Oh, this is really nice. Who did that?" And she's like, "My friend Tim. He's from Buffalo. He's a stylist. He could do whatever." Like she was just
just hype you up. Yeah, hype
hyping me up.
I love it.
So literally, so that happened in like it happened in March. Everything happened in March when everything got released. And April 1st, no lie, right hand up to God, I get a phone call and I'm like, "Hello?" And she's like, "Hey, is this Tim?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Hey, I'm Sada. I'm a hairstylist. My friend is looking for a stylist." And I'm like, who's your friend? And I'm like, "How did you get my number?" She's like, "Oh, I got your number from Angie." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "Yeah, my friend she's going to her mother's wedding, and she needs a dress. Can you get one?" I'm like, "Yeah, who's your friend?" And she's like, "Oh, I thought I said it." She's like, "It's Kim." And I was like, Kim who?" And she was like, "Little Kim." And my heart dropped because literally on my wall of my bedroom, I used to have, growing up, I had Aaliyah, Left Eye, and Little Kim on my wall. Like
Wow.
I just loved them. Like Kim
Wow.
was just like everything to me, and I just thought she was so dope. And I was just like, "No, this can't be real." In my heart, like in my chest, I'm like,
Wow.
my life is really starting to unfold right now.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, it ended up being really bad because, like I said before, when you get um when you acquire clothing for events and photo shoots, you go through a PR company and they let you borrow the sample. And at the time, Kim was sample size, so I was able to get dresses, and because people didn't know who I was, so, like the high end brands didn't want to lend to me, so I had to borrow some dresses from. It was a brand called Giovanni, and the dress that she like we did the like I just couldn't believe it. Like my nerves took over, and I just was like, "This is too." Like I kept telling myself, "This is too big. This is too big for me. Like it's happening too fast. It's happening too fast." Like I don't know. I was like asking people, and like my boss was at the time. She was like, "How the hell did you get with Little Kim? Like what? How? Like what? What's going on?" Like, and I'm like, "I don't know." And she wasn't that supportive. I'm not gonna lie, she wasn't that supportive, and I just didn't know what to do. So literally, I just took the leap of faith. I did it, and it went horribly. the dress that she wanted to wear had a big hole in the back, and I never took it out to like analyze everything. I'm just assuming, okay, if they give me a sample, everything is cool. I don't have to check it. And when we did the fitting, she's like, oh yeah, I like this one. She's like, yeah, I could wear this. And she put it on, it had a big hole in the back, and she was like, I'm leaving like in 2 hours to go get on the plane. We can't really fix it. She's like, I'll just wear this backup that I had. And I was like, oh. And I was just so, like, I was so frustrated, but my nerves was everywhere because I'm like, oh my God, I'm standing in Little Kim's house. I don't know. Oh my God. Like, my heart was beating out my chest. Like, I was just a nervous ball. Afterwards, she was like, it's okay. Things happen. She was very understanding. And she was like, it's not your fault, it's their fault. And she was like, she's like, you haven't worked with a celebrity before, huh? And I'm like, no. And she was like, I could tell. She's like, but she's like, me and you are gonna do some big things together. Right. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just nervous. I left. Like a few weeks later, she was going on tour, and she did this like African, like she was in Africa. And her friend Sada, which started becoming my friend, she was like, hey, come to the, she was like, come to the, she's like, where are you at? I was like, I'm in Brooklyn. She said, oh, come to Queens. And she said it like that. I didn't know Kim was going to be there. We went to her rehearsals, and Kim was like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And she like, that night, she's like, oh, I'm hosting a party tonight. You should come to the party with us. And since that moment, we just kind of like clicked, and it was like a thing where we just had a genuine relationship. And from there it grew, and the next thing you know, I was doing her one of her publicists put me in contact with the people from 106 & Park. I did a few episodes on 106 & Park, and they were trying to get me on the show as a permanent host. But at the time, I didn't know they were going under. The company was going under. And they offered me a position. And then they retracted it because the company had folded. So in between that time, I was working with Poe from Lala's Full Court Life. So I was around Lala and Carmelo Anthony, and I was trying to get in with Carmelo because I'm like, okay, this is the way in. I could get with the guys and everything. And from there, it just like everything just started taking off. Like Kim did a fashion week, and that was the first time I ever experienced like press and people wanting to know who I am and things like that. So it just started growing from there, and it just like people like every client that I had kind of like reached out to me. I never like reached out to them. So from there, it just was like a trickle effect. So
wow,
it was all about me like really kind of like following my dreams. And then from there, I kind of like while working with Kim, I really got a chance to like learn like the woman's body and undergarments and stockings and everything like that. So it was
it's important. You gotta get it, you gotta keep it right.
yeah. So it ended up
amazing.
Everything just like ended up working for itself, and I was like, I'm really blessed. And I put in the work. I definitely put in the work. It's been times where I was like, about to give up. My grandmother died in between there, and I had got another. It was crazy because I was getting a lot of like TV offers. It was like some show on I forgot. I wonder. I think it was the Style Network or something, and it was called It was some girl from Jersey Licious. She got a spinoff show, and it was called like the Glam Shop or something like that, but it ended up not. I actually got the job like literally 5 days before my grandmother passed. They reached out to me on a website I had it was like Model Mayhem, and they reached out to me because she liked how I dressed, and so the casting director reached out to me, and I was telling my grandmother, and I'm like, oh, it's really happening, like, oh, and she's like, I can't believe it. So that it was a Tuesday. I spoke to my grandmother for about 5 or 6 hours on the phone. You know, it was God. And I was going on tour with Kim, and the tour started. Everything, it was so much going on for me, and I was like, "What is going on? Like, how is this my life right now? I have no real work to show for myself, but I'm on TV, I'm doing this, and I'm like, what is this?"
Yeah.
By that, I went and did the interview on Thursday. They called me back on Friday, sent over the contracts and everything, and I didn't know I was just going to sign it. And I'm thankful that I didn't, because when I look back, I still have the contract. The contract was crazy. It was horrible. It was a horrible contract. That Friday, I went and started the tour with Kim in the Bronx. And Saturday, we had a day off, and they called me on Saturday, told me my grandmother passed away. And it kind of like put a freeze on everything. So the show was reached out to me, and I just wasn't there. But then once I came back to New York, I left New York for a little bit. I came back, and then that's when 106 and Park came into play. And I was like, okay, it's meant for me to, it's meant for me to be here. And
Wow.
I did a few episodes on Lala's Full Court Life, and it was a few other things. I think I'm missing a lot of stuff, but those were like the
just what you have shared, Tim.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting here writing down stuff, taking notes, so many questions, because you have such a powerful story, and your testimony. I mean, from beginning of, trying to figure out what you want to do, to having the criticism of you following your dreams, to taking the leap of faith, to overcoming all the failures and the rejection, to having just being open. I mean, it's
it was a lot. But I always, when I look back on it, because when you turn, like I turned 30, and I was like, okay, I was just analyzing my life. But I always had a spiritual connection with God. So I was like, I was always praying. I was always like, I swear to you, every situation that didn't work out, it was for the best, because the people wasn't the right people. Like, just being honest, a lot of people in this industry are really not the best people, and it could be the people that are the same skin color as you, and they don't want you to succeed, or they get jealous of your opportunities, and you looking at them like, well, you're this person, like, why do you care about what I'm doing? So a lot of situations just didn't work out, and a lot of people that I really, really wanted to work with and learn from, God was like, no, we got a different route for you.
Right.
You gonna learn, and you're gonna have to learn these mistakes. You got to make these mistakes on your own. And I thank God every day, because it's like a lot of the stuff that I did, I avoided. I hear so many of my other stylist friends that tell me horror stories about, the people they work with, and I never experienced anything really crazy or anything bad. So I'm just very thankful that I had like my faith in God. My mother started believing after she started seeing how things was working. My mother's like, all right, we on this thing together.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my father
She's a believer now, right?
Yeah, my father wasn't so supportive, but my grandmother and my mother, that's all the support I needed.
That's what's up.
It's just like, everything, like a lot of people that I got with, I didn't like, I was like, what is this happening like with recently? Like I was working with Ashanti, and she had that, the versus battle and everything, and it's so like it's kind of like her like reemerging again and coming back to the forefront. So it was just like I've had a lot of great opportunities, like the BET owes me a lot, because a lot of Kim's big moments, like when she did the Bad Boy reunion, and she came from underground, the burgundy outfit that she wore when she performed with Mary J. Blige in 2019.
Wow.
I've had a lot of moments with 106 and Park. I've had a lot of moments with BET, but they were always embracing and
Tim, you are the picture perfect of adulting in my purpose. Like,
Yeah.
like when I think about what that means, and even the highs, the lows, and just truly honing in on who God created you to be and finding that alignment. Because when you find it, then He just continues to open the doors.
Yeah.
And so your story, I mean, we have people they got so much questions
I
for
know.
you. The
I'm just
chat
not
is like
looking.
going, it's just blowing up. I have a million questions, and I know we're running out of time. I'm going to get to a few questions,
Okay.
because we're gonna have to set something up so we can actually have you maybe for a full hour, maybe on the show or something, because your story is just so powerful. So we have, let's see, I'll have this question. How do you step into finding manifesting your personal style? Someone said, I've been wearing uniforms my whole life and still do. I can follow dress codes, but just going out to day, I feel iffy sometimes. And plus, they hate shopping. So, how do you step into
The
finding your?
crazy thing is I hate shopping as well. And that's is you have to really like just go after what you like and know your body type. Um Tailoring is important, making sure, everything fits well. But it's all about really maybe um it's like you have to just kind of like get into yourself, like go to a store and just look at stuff, and whatever catches your eye, that's kind of like how you kind of start like piecing your style together. A lot of times when I work with different clients, I look at what they did in the past. I ask them what they want to, what are they looking for, in the future going forward. And then I kind of like mix it all together and like kind of put in a little bit of trends and different stuff. Like it's just like testing. And then once you like, you got to just try different things, try new things, and try different silhouettes for your body type. And really like whatever works, you gotta like hone into that. Like it's really simple. Like it's to me, I always, like sometimes if I can, like I like to go shopping with my clients and see what they like see what they gravitate towards, because I kind of got to be their eyes when I'm working, so it could be organic, or an organic look.
Awesome. So they want to hear more of your story. They want to know how they can get in contact you, follow you on your social media. How can they do that?
My maybe I can write it in the chat.
Yeah, please put that in the chat, guys. Was this great for you? This is day 2, and we're starting off with such a powerful, amazing testimony. Did you all enjoy that?
I wish I could have answered more questions. I feel so
I
bad.
know, but your story was so powerful, and I think it's even just about the inspiration. Yes, we have people that have more questions just to get to know you a little bit better, but just hearing your journey, and just the I know you could take us deeper, but just hearing the gamut of from where it started to where you are today, it was just truly powerful and inspiring. And I know you
Thank you.
inspired me and so many that are listening in. And so we'll definitely have to connect and probably have you. I have a Adulting in My Purpose podcast is a little longer that we can
Hmm.
dive into some question. If you're willing to do that, come on the
Yes, I
show.
am, because I
Okay.
feel bad. I feel like I know you have other people on the list,
They
and
want to ask
I
questions.
know, I know. Yeah, like we gonna set something up where we could have like a conversation, and everybody can get
That's a
their
bet. That's a
questions in.
bet. We're going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what your time is like. We have another speaker that's coming on, but then we have a little break that people are going to be in our social lounge. If you're able to stay and hang around there, then that could be another opportunity for you to engage with our audience and ask questions there. But I want to thank you so much.
Thank
I
you for
value
having
your
me.
time. It was powerful, and just all the things that you shared is just amazing. And I know God is going to continue to open the doors and continue to take you higher and higher and higher. So just continue adulting in your purpose.
Thank you, and everybody else. Follow your dreams, follow your heart. Have a plan, stick to it, and do in your heart what feels right. You have to do. You can't let anybody else or any outside noise tell you otherwise. Like, I swear, every decision I made, I'm happy I made it. I don't regret anything, and I'm here today because of decisions, the right decisions that I made.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again. So we're going to take a quick break, get the next speaker up, and then we'll see you back on the main stage, guys. Thank you, Tim, so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye, everyone. And y'all can hit me up on Instagram. I'll talk back. Just let me know that you was in here. I don't talk to everybody, but
yeah, we get special treatment up in the Adulting in My Purpose platform. Yes. I love it. I love it.
All right. All right. You guys have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Your time. It was powerful, and just all the things that you shared. It's just amazing. And I know God is going to continue to open the doors and continue to take you higher and higher and higher. So just continue adulting in your purpose.
Thank you. And everybody else, follow your dreams, follow your heart. Have a plan, stick to it, and do in your heart what feels right. You have to do. You can't let anybody else or any outside noise tell you otherwise. Like, I swear, every decision I made, I'm happy I made it. I don't regret anything, and I'm here today because of decisions, the right decisions that I made.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again. So we're going to take a quick break, get the next speaker up, and then we'll see you back on the main stage, guys. Thank you, Tim, so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye, everyone. And y'all can hit me up on Instagram. I'll talk back. Just let me know that you was in here. I don't talk to everybody, but
yeah, we get special treatment up in the Adulting in My Purpose platform. Yes. I love it. I love it.
All right. All right. You guys have a great day.